for Super Bowl 59 picks and predictions. We got a great matchup. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, a rematch up a couple seasons ago. Jalen Hurts, just the fifth quarterback to go to multiple Super Bowls in his first few seasons as a starter, and breaking the curse, knowing that 19 quarterbacks who initially made it to the Super Bowl never made it back. And hopefully this is his moment to permanently silence the haters, because they never seem like they want to go away. We'll talk about some matchups, maybe some X factors, and then give a score prediction, man. So I'll let you take it off the top, JV. Give me some great matchups that you're looking forward to here in Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, so you tossed over the agenda to me, AJ, and immediately I went to Saquon Barkley, obviously, in that Chiefs D line. I think that's going to be a massive factor in Philly's
Yep.
success. It pretty much has been all year, right? The offense has ran through Saquon Barkley, but besides that, a few notable guys that I had written down. Obviously, KC, it's going to be Kelsey matched up against any linebackers they got on him. That's huge for
Yep.
Philly's defense.
Yep.
And then furthermore, I think coaching wise, I'm interested to see the Kellen Moore versus Spags matchup. Spags is an absolute mastermind, and Kellen Moore, I'm sure we'll get into it, AJ. I don't know how confident I am in his abilities. I'm confident in Jalen Hurts and the rest of the squad, but
Yeah.
against a defensive coordinator that's just absolutely unreal and just dismantled the Buffalo Bills,
Yeah.
I'm not so certain. So I'd be looking at those coaching matchups. And then obviously you got Reed versus Fangio, but that's kind of given.
Yeah, great takeaways there, man, no doubt. And when you come into this one looking at it for, the Eagles, outside of the Steelers and the Ravens matchups earlier this year, they really haven't seen a defense like this. And then the Chiefs haven't played this caliber of defense all year. You could try to pick through their schedules and their wins and their losses to see if they really have. But when you're talking about literally the first and second best defense in the NFL, you're talking about Vic Fangio, you're talking about Steve Spagnuolo, huge defensive matchup here. And I think the score prediction that we give towards the end of this segment is really going to indicate how this is going to be a major defensive battle, no question. You look at Patrick Mahomes and company, of course, versus that Eagles secondary. How are they going to be able to fare? CJ Gardner-Johnson, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, who's in the defensive rookie of the year conversation, Darius Slay, Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship, and then you're going to have the Kelseys, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. So it's going to be really major, and that's really more of a, Andy Reid play calling with Patrick Mahomes versus that Vic Fangio defense. And I said it last season when Vic Fangio came into the Eagles, like, this is going to be an elite defense. I was mind blown that the Dolphins and Vic, parted ways mutually, or however they wanted to put it, but definitely a big loss for the Dolphins there, no doubt. And even a specific matchup when we're talking about this offense versus this defense, Zach Bond on Travis Kelce, I think is going to be something that we're going to hear the commentators talk about all night. Social media is going to be buzzing about it, and I don't think that it's going to disappoint on the field either. You look at that Chiefs O-line versus that Eagles pass rush as well. You've got Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Brandon Graham has returned to practice, and it looks like he's going to be able to go in the Super Bowl, which is a major plus for that Eagles defense, and then even Josh Sweat as well. So I think the Chiefs O-line will be able to hold up, but we have seen a little bit of issues at center and at guard, over some courses of the season. But it's not to say that it's a bad O-line. It's not to say that it's been a failure for this team, because clearly they're in this Super Bowl. They're looking for the three-peat, but it is going to be an absolute banger all the way around. And it feels like you could just take every player on each side of the ball and match them up with somebody, and it's going to be an elite matchup, because I do believe we truly have the two best teams in the NFL, as much as people might not want to agree because of the calls with the Chiefs and everything. We've got the two best teams in the NFL right now on the biggest stage, and that's really all we can ask for. You look at that Spags defense as well, and that Chiefs defensive line. Are they able to stop Saquon Barkley a lot? Like you said, we've seen that offense run through Saquon. The Chiefs have not seen a running back like Saquon Barkley. Hell, nobody has in the NFL has seen a running back like Saquon Barkley until they saw him. My Saints in week 3 were very much welcome to him. I think 16 carries, 185 yards. It was disgusting to see, and that was just an indicator to know what Saquon Barkley was going to do over this year. And can that Spags defense match up against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts' legs and his ability to extend plays, Dallas Goedert, who likes to get involved in this offense as well. And then will Jalen Hurts be able to really combat those Steve Spagnuolo exotic defensive looks like we saw Josh Allen struggle with a little bit? He saves that exotic blitz till the end of the game, and then Josh Allen, whether some people want to drag him for it or not, he made the throw. It was dropped by the tight end. Yes, he had Shakir underneath on the check down, but people aren't keeping that same energy when Jalen Hurts took a safety against the Rams and Kenneth Gainwell was available down low on the check down. When you have a defender coming right at you, a Steve Spagnuolo exotic blitz, I mean, there was 3-4 defenders in Josh's vicinity immediately. I think that's going to be something that Jalen Hurts possibly has to put up with as well. You got any X factors, or you think players or kind of units that are really going to decide what this game could be, or do you feel like you covered it in the matchups there?
No, I'll tell you one guy, AJ, and I was, kind of dissecting the game, and obviously you have your main guys, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. You can go to all of them, but
Yep.
honestly, behind the scenes, I think the one guy that could end up deciding things for Philly is Jake Elliott. And
Yeah.
it
See people talking about that.
honestly, he's had some difficulties throughout the year. Usually he's been a reliable kicker, but
Right.
in that above 50 range, if he can hit a few field goals, if he can play a perfect game for a kicker that's just hit all your kicks, I think that's a lot bigger than people will give Philly credit for.
Yep.
And especially against the Chiefs, when you can't really leave points on the board. I mean, we saw it with Buffalo. The
No.
second they left points on the board, the second they went for it on a few fourth down conversions, didn't work out. Chiefs came back and just absolutely obliterated them, took over the
Yep.
game. For Philly, I think Jake Elliott, if he has a game, if he can hit 3 or 4 field goals when it's necessary, put up 9, 12 points on the board, that's going to
Yeah.
be massive. And that's an X factor. I would say kind of a diamond in the rough, I would say. I don't want to pick Mahomes or Hurts because we know about them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, great points there. And I wouldn't even think that a kicker would possibly be able to come in and have that type of effect, but it is true. This is going to be a major defensive matchup. We're going to see a battle of kickers in this one. Harrison Butker, Jake Elliott. Are these guys able to take the opportunities that they're given against an elite defensive? I mean, we have the two best defenses in the league, the two best defensive coordinators in the league, which is kind of a given, right? But sometimes it doesn't necessarily play out that way. You might have a roster covering up a mediocre or average coordinator, but no, these guys are front and center, and very good points there on that, no doubt. I think for the Chiefs, it's going to come down to Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. Are they able to kind of stuff the middle for Saquon Barkley? Are they able to really keep him contained? Because if Saquon has another game like he did against the Saints, like he did against the Rams, hell, like he did against everybody this season just about, it's going to be a long night for the Chiefs. Now, weirdly enough, the Chiefs could still possibly win that game because of the magic of Mahomes, and we know Andy Reid and the offense that is carried there in Kansas City. But if Saquon Barkley is not able to be contained by Chris Jones up the middle and George Karlaftis around the edge, whether they're trying to move Saquon out, move the pocket for Jalen Hurts, get Jalen to extend his legs, I think that could be some very vital points there. And when you look on the Eagles side of the ball, of course, again, going back to Saquon Barkley, he's got to have a Saquon Barkley signature game. It already feels like he's had some of his best games of the year, but he needs to pull another one out of the bag. We know that he's just 30 yards away from Terrell Davis's all-time yards in a season, and he's easily going to get that in this game. It would be shocking if Saquon Barkley did not get at least 105, maybe 115 rushing yards in this one. It might not be a vintage game, but he's got to make plays when the Eagles need it because he has been an absolute superstar for this team. Zach Bond as well, a guy that's made plays all season long for that defense, and I don't think it's going to be any different here for Philadelphia. How is he going to be able to cover Travis Kelce? What's it going to look like with the running backs coming out of the backfield? Is, Fangio going to send him on a blitz every now and then to get after Mahomes? I think Zach Bond is really going to be all over the field, and Fangio has to really include him in this game. And then Jalen Hurts extending plays, not just Jalen Hurts himself, but the ability to extend plays. And people can disagree with me all they want on this take right here. Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He just didn't take home the trophy. He only lost by 3. Jalen Hurts made some insane throws. We saw the connections to A.J. Brown, but this team is absolutely different. Having a Saquon, having a Kellen Moore, having a Vic Fangio, but if he's able to pull that all together and extend plays in critical moments, I think that's an absolute X factor here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me a score prediction before we get out of here, man, on who you have winning it all. Do the Chiefs three-peat for the first time ever in NFL history, or do the Eagles right the ship? Jalen Hurts maybe gets his respect because it just seems like he's the most hated quarterback in the league for some odd reason. What do you got going down, JV?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, regardless of if he gets that Super Bowl, it's not going to be respect. They'll find a way around it to hate on him, whatever. That's besides the point. I
Crazy.
think for me, I'm rooting for Philly, not a Philly fan, but I'm going to go Chiefs 33, Philly 30. I just
Ooh,
can't bet against Kansas City, man. It's the same
yeah,
thing as what it was with the Pats. I never bet against Brady, even if
yeah,
there's a shot, even if I believe in the underdog. I
right.
just can't do it. I can't bet against the guy that's clutch and performs every single time he steps on a playoff football field.
Yep. Yep. I'm trying to see what the betting odds are. I don't even know. I mean, obviously, I'm sure the Chiefs are favored. Let's see what
Yeah, I would
FanDuel is
say
saying.
Kansas City must be favored.
Mm-hmm. I should have pulled this up earlier. I usually do when I predict games. It doesn't seem like it's wanting to get along with me. Oh, wait, here we go. They're a 1.5 point favorite, so this is necessarily a pick 'em, no doubt. Destiny Gamer, appreciate you jumping on. Patrick Mahomes is 3-0 against #1 defenses in the playoffs too. That is something I did not know. So it's going to make a lot of people wonder if the Eagles, just because they bring something special to the table defensively, are they actually able to make it happen? He has the Chiefs winning 34-28. You have the Chiefs winning 33-30. It's hard to bet against them, and it looks like you guys see this one being a shootout. But I'm taking the field. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. I will have them stop in the three-peat. Jalen Hurts will be your Super Bowl MVP. If not, it will be Saquon Barkley. Give me the Eagles with a final score of 24-17. Yes, I think Vic Fangio has an insane game. He has to coach an elite game. He really does. And it's not to say that, anyone on the Chiefs side of the ball doesn't play up to that eliteness that Fangio is going to coach at, because Spags is going to bring it. Andy Reid is going to bring it. But I have got the Philadelphia Eagles winning this one, stopping the three-peat, riding the ship, 24-17.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.